This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com, and I haven't done a magazine review in a while, so I'm going to do one of the eighth wonder of the world, WWE Hall of Famer Andre the Giant, and this was put out by WWF just after he passed away. So I have not opened this since I was a kid. So let's look at this. There's no date on it. But it's a Spotlight, WWE Spotlight magazine, special edition, volume 20. Right here, there is interest. This is interesting. Is this a WrestleMania? Yeah, a WrestleMania 9 promo. But Hogan is not on it. And of course, Hogan ended up winning that title at WrestleMania 9. And he was also teaming with Brutus the Barber Beefcake against Money Inc. Brutus Beefcake was in one of the feature matches at WrestleMania. Then we have a big spread on Andre's life in the ring. I'll try and open this around gently. The WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal. What I always wondered about the WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal, it was so kayfabe, but they had NFL players in the Battle Royal. I don't think the NFL would ever allow that now to have active players. I don't know. I guess the last time it was done was WCW with Kevin Green. But that obviously is a great risk to put active NFL players in a wrestling match where they can get hurt. Andre teaming with Haku there at the WrestleMania in Toronto Skydome. And of course, Haku, he did a shoot interview on this channel and he talks about that. Andre pulling Mr. Perfect's hair, one of his last appearances. Back then, you had to mail in to order a magazine. Not that magazines, I don't even know if WWE does magazines anymore, but you can just fill out the forms online. Here you'd have to, there's no codes. You get these $15 coupons. You fill out the bottom by hand with a pencil or pen. Yes, Russo's magazine was good. I was more of an 80s fan than the Attitude Era, but obviously I like them both by now. Oh, this is interesting. Typhoon, who I just interviewed on Friday, talking about Andre the Giant. His heart was as big as the man was. To his friends. Jim Duggan, playing cards with Andre was one way to get to know him. Bret Hart, he was a big, friendly giant. I will miss him. There's Andre with Tiger Jackson, who I've interviewed. Dink in the middle. Sergeant Slaughter said if he played football, he would have been one of the greatest. The thing about him playing football, and I actually watched an interview with him recently from Australia, he was offered an NFL contract. But at the time, wrestlers actually made more than football players. So he went into wrestling. And he was pretty athletic in his younger days. Now here's Arnold Skaaland, who was one of his best friends. You always hear about him playing cribbage. One of my best friends, can't believe he's no longer here. And Arnold is no longer here either. Mr. Perfect says Andre backed up the car and lifted it up while I put on the tire. That's one way. That's one faster way of doing things. Tito Santana, he always respected our profession. There's a bunch of Tito Santana interviews on this channel. Oh, this is pretty cool. Sega, a Dracula Sega game. You gotta love the vampires and Dracula. And then here we go. You had to order merchandise from a magazine back then. There was no internet. Let's look at the 1993 summer merchandise. First page, obviously Undertaker. They're pushing the hell out of the Undertaker. I had that shirt, and I actually got it signed. Undertaker. And I also had that foam hand of the Undertaker too. You don't see the foam hands anymore. Full page of Bret Hart. I also had that Bret Hart shirt. There's one down here. The shades. Things were a lot cheaper by then. You could get a poster for $5.95. Okay, so this shows you Hulk Hogan was being phased out here. Hogan and Macho Man only have like half of a page, where Undertaker and Bret Hart have a full page. So that probably tells you why they both went to WCW shortly after this. I could see them, and you get, obviously, you know, Hogan and Bret always had a feud. And by the way, this is the order form. You'd have to fill this out. So Hogan and Macho Man, to put it into perspective, have the same amount of a page as Mr. Perfect. And there's the Steiner brothers. Of course, Rick Steiner's son, Braun Breaker, who has a different name than Rick Steiner for some reason. Maybe he was illegitimate. Bobby Boom, wrestling is so fake. Okay, well, you're watching this channel, commenting. I also had that book. I also had that belt. Oh, look at this sexy leg with a Hulk Hogan keychain. You remember in the 90s, all the hot women that walked around with Hulk Hogan keychains. WWE Superstars Party Packs. So, okay, so there's more Hulk Hogan stuff as the pages go on. But it's scattered. It's not like there's a whole page dedicated to them. But with all the jealousy in wrestling. By the way, this kid has a typical 90s sweater on. You would see those a lot. These ice cream bars were apparently delicious. And again, Bret Hart, they're pushing the hell out of Bret Hart. Bret Hart can say what he wants about Vince, who he's made up with. But they pushed the hell out of him. They made him popular. I already told the Foley's story. Ivory or China? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Well, I would say Ivory. You remember the ice cream. What did you think about it? They didn't have it in Canada. I remember when they did tapings here, they would bring out the boxes and give them to people in the front row. But they wouldn't sell them anywhere, to my knowledge. I always wanted to try them. Spotlight on Andre. He had his own style, didn't he? Bret Hart on the Ico Pro. You can really tell in this, they're pushing the hell out of Bret Hart. You don't get popular unless they push you. Andre the Giant Princess Bride poster. There he is with the Princess Bride. I've never seen the Princess Bride. Ivan ate those ice cream bars. Someone saw them in Stripes where he is. I don't know if they sold them outside of the States. Andre on Letterman. I've seen pretty much all of his interviews. Another 15% off. Join the official WWE fan club. They don't really have fan clubs anymore. People just follow pages. Now we're going into, okay. This is interesting. This is his ranch. Now there's a restaurant, La Pichette. Is that Andre's restaurant? When Andre was away from the ring, he liked to spend time on his cattle ranch in North Carolina, where he often fished at a nearby lake with some of his most trusted friends. Andre also enjoyed having a glass of French wine from time to time. How about a case or two from time to time? That may have been his restaurant. I'm trying to see if it says it. He had dogs. His 3 favorite television shows were The Jeffersons, Wheel of Fortune, and The Price is Right. He had a sophisticated side. He was cultured with a taste for the finer things in life, such as gourmet food. Dining in a Chinese restaurant with Sergeant Slaughter He ordered 8 different dinners, which took 2 waitresses to serve. Very interesting. Here he is on a 4-wheeler. I mean, at least towards the end of his career, he wasn't wrestling as much. Frenchie Bernard from New Year was kind of his caretaker who lived with him. He was always smiling. He made it a point to okay, now I don't believe this. I do not believe this. This goes exactly against what everybody said. He was always smiling, and he made it a point to shake hands with everybody in the dressing room. He was a happy person, and he made you happy just being around. Now, I'm sorry. I like Andre the Giant, Tank Abbott's wife's favorite wrestler, by the way. But that is a load of bullshit. That line goes against everything we've said. I'm trying to. It doesn't really say much about his French restaurant, but I understand he had a place in a restaurant in Montreal. Here he is choking Jim Duggan, who there's a shoot interview with on this channel. And I believe this might be Dr. David Schultz. Certainly. Oh, no, it's not. BH. Was this guy the Blood Hunter before the Blood Hunter had the mask? Did the Blood Hunter wrestle Andre? Andre crushing the $1 Million Man. Andre choking Greg Valentine. Oh, Double Dragon 3. I had this game for Nintendo. This is the... it was for Sega here. I had a Sega Genesis too. And here are the top shows from the time. WWE Mania, Monday Night Raw, and All American Wrestling, all on the USA Network. So, very interesting stuff. Someone says in the UK, they drink big cans of beer. Well, they do have the things here that they call tall boys, which is like a can and a half of beer. He holds the record, 126 beers at a sitting. I mean, I never tried to drink as many as I could, but I've definitely drank the 35 case before. But that's not healthy. And he died at I forget how old he was when he died. He was in his early 40s. Okay. He's 46. On January 27th, Andre the Giant was found dead in his hotel room. He died in his sleep from heart failure at age 46. And we know alcohol is bad for the heart. So, yeah, he was probably going to die early anyways. But the amount of alcohol this guy consumed was a lot. Jason, are the biographies on the network? If they are, I'll watch, but I don't have cable. Someone says it was a good movie. Well, interesting stuff. Hey, by the way, look what I found when I was clearing out too. This WCW napkin set. But here's the interesting thing. I know who Sting is here, but who the hell is this? At first I thought it was Lex Luger. It could potentially be Lex Luger, but Lex Luger never did poses like that. And I don't know. It looks like a cross between Lex Luger and Brian Pillman. Anyways, I wish everyone a good afternoon. I'm heading off to the gym. Have a great end of your weekend.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not